Tate Rodemaker did something extremely well in this game. A lot of people aren't going to give him credit for. It's not really going to show up in the stat sheet. It's not too flashy. All right, there we go. Yes, you've guessed it. I'm still overly excited, to say the least, about the Alabama-Auburn game. Trust me, I'm not going to talk about that game in this video. I'm going to recap that game in the next video you see after that one. So, hey, when you're watching this video, stay up tonight. What are you doing? There's no big-time games going on. I'm going to upload another video probably like 45 minutes after this one. So, stay up. We're going to talk about the Iron Bowl some more because I haven't even talked about the game, really. You got my live reaction to it. I'm sure some of you saw that. And, man, not just the game is going to go down in history books, but that live reaction is also for our channel. That's got to go down in the history books as well. I don't know if maybe there is a bunch of live reactions on YouTube, but it doesn't get too much better than that. That was as raw, authentic as it gets. But that's not what we're here to talk about in this video. I'm here to talk about all the other great games that we had today. And I tweeted this out today, by the way. If you want to see what I'm saying during the games, go follow me on Twitter. I can't believe in Rival Week, the last weekend of college football for the regular season at least, we didn't even have one upset. That's almost unheard. In the past, what is it now, 2 or 3 weeks, we haven't even seen an upset. And I had some people replying in the comment section. I saw you saying, Matt, you're tripping. What about Louisville? Louisville? You think Kentucky upset Louisville an upset? No, that ain't an upset, all right? Sure, Louisville is ranked 10th in the country, but come on now. We all knew they were fraudulent. I can't label it as an upset. Words all over the place. I can't label that as an upset. There we go. If you want to label Kentucky beating Louisville as an upset, go right ahead, but I can't do it because I'm pretty sure, I could be mistaken on this, but hasn't Kentucky beat Louisville the past 4 or 5 times? I might be wrong on that, but I think I saw that somewhere. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Not really an important game. Kentucky's a bottom feeder in the SEC, and guess what? They beat a team that's going to the ACC championship. When I say don't get me started on that, don't get me started. And by the way, I'm going to throw this in there right now before we get to Florida State. Florida State is not a top 4 team. Now, first things first. Before we get to Florida State, I just got done watching Georgia wrap up their game with Georgia Tech, and I would have been doing this video earlier, but at the end there, actually, I was watching the game. I was watching it downstairs, trying to decompress from that Alabama game. And I was like, all right, let's go talk about all these games, starting to walk up. And then Georgia Tech scored, and I was like, well, they got it to 8 points. Maybe if they get a stop, they can make it interesting. I don't want to get up here and start talking about all the games. The next thing I know, Georgia Tech's tied it up on a 2-point conversion, but that didn't happen. I'll get to them last, I guess. Before I get into all of these games, though, I want to make this clear. Say this at the beginning of the video. I've seen so many people today on Twitter, and it's just casually expose themselves saying, oh, I can't believe the Iron Bowl was close. Auburn sucks. Oh, I can't believe the Washington State game was close. I can't believe Washington struggled with Washington State. Oh, I can't believe this game was close. This game was close. That team ain't good. This team ain't good. Blah, 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 blah. Dude, you must be new to college football because any person that actually keeps up with college football, the diehard fans part of our community, you know this. I don't care if Washington State was 0-11. I'm not discrediting Washington's win. I'm not. And hey, that's as unbiased as it gets. Nobody's hated on Washington more than me, myself, and I this year. So if I'm saying that, you know, it's got to mean something. But seriously, it's for every single team. It's rival week. I don't care if Auburn was 0-11. You're not going to discredit, and no person knows what we're talking about, is going to discredit Alabama's win over Auburn. And I'll pull up a couple others here. Same thing for the, well, I was going to say Ohio State, Michigan, but they're both top 5 teams. But same thing for the Kentucky-Louisville game. It didn't matter. Kentucky 6-5. Ain't that what they are? Kentucky-Louisville is a big-time matchup. Same thing for the Florida State game. I'll get to them in just a second. Yeah, Florida's not very good, but it's a rival matchup. If it's close, that's one of the few times a year I'm going to give Florida State or a different team the benefit of the doubt because you're playing your rival. Simple as that. Now, with that being said, I would like to start out with this Oregon and Texas game. These teams played on Friday, and man, oh man, Shout out to the Longhorn Nation. I know we got some Longhorn fans watching this video. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to all the Oregon Duck fans. I see a lot of Oregon fans comment on the videos. Appreciate y'all. Oregon and Texas last night, Friday night, not tonight, Friday, looked like top 4 teams. Granted, they didn't play the best of best competition, but I didn't evaluate them based off of what I saw from Texas Tech or Oregon State. I evaluated and analyzed Texas and Oregon based off of how they played. And they look like top 4 teams. I might go, I'll go as far as saying this. Last night was the best I've seen Texas look since week 2 against Alabama. You can do what you want with that information. As far as it goes for Oregon, they're really good. They should have beat Washington if they could have got 1 out of 3 fourth downs, but it doesn't matter ultimately because they got a rematch with Washington. That's a different video for a different day. Now let me address this game though. Washington State. I'm not very high on Washington because there's just something off about them, at least in my humble opinion. I still get the sense and feel like Oregon is the better team. If they play tomorrow, I'm picking Oregon to win. But Washington just continues to win games. I'm not comparing them to Iowa. Do not twist my words here. But it's like Iowa football. Iowa, you look up, they're 10-2, and you're like, how are they 10-2? That's how I feel about Washington. They don't look dominant, okay? Like Georgia this year, for example. They've dominated. Washington, no, they've had what, 4 or 5 close games? Really close games at that. But they just continue to win. And whether you like it or not, if Washington wins out, they're getting into the playoff, okay? It's simple as that. They lose, they're not getting in. They win, they're getting in. It doesn't matter if they win by 1, 2, 3, 40 points. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it wasn't pretty today, but you played your rival. Like I said, give you a benefit of doubt. The game I really want to talk about here, though, is this Florida State game. Yeah, LSU beat A&M, but who cares? Game has no ramifications whatsoever. I got to talk about this Florida game, man. I'm curious. I have not seen... Wow. Woo-hoo. What a box score. Wait till I show you these numbers. Pull that up right here. Oh, yeah, by the way, was I the only one who noticed that Kansas State, Iowa, was it? Yeah, Iowa State game? Dude, it's like a freaking blizzard there. What's going on? I guess that cold front came through Kansas, but it wasn't like an inch of snow. They're playing it looked like about 4 to 6 inches. That stuff looked thick, okay? You know you got fluffy snow and thick snow. That was thick snow. Tate, spell this correctly here. Rodemaker. I believe I'm saying his name correctly, right? Rodemaker? I believe that's how you say it. If I'm saying it wrong, I do apologize. I'm gonna leave it at that, actually. Leave that there. Tate Rodemaker on the night. Okay, if I would have showed y'all these numbers before the game, Florida State game, 12 for 25, 48 completion percentage. Not the greatest, but it's okay, I guess. And really not okay, it's just not very good. 48 completion percentage. Buck 34 through the air. Florida State fans or any college football fans, what do you think the outcome of this game would have been? And you know, I'm thinking about it. Me personally, I don't know. I'd have to see what Florida's quarterback did. And by the way, he didn't do anything. He had like 90 passing yards, 1 interception. But also, here's another thing. Guess how many touchdowns he had in this game? All right, I'll write it down. You know, I'll write it up here. 0. 0 TDs. But, and I have a very big but, guess how many interceptions he had in this game? 0. Tate Rodemaker did something extremely well in this game. A lot of people aren't going to give him credit for. It's not really going to show up in the stat sheet. It's not too flashy. He didn't lose Florida State the game. He really never panicked. Although they got down 12-0, had a safety. Nothing was going their way. He didn't lose them the game. He didn't make a disastrous play or a couple of them, right? And that's why Florida State came back and won this game. They didn't lose composure, and to me, that was really impressive. Let your backup quarterback to not lose composure in a big-time rival matchup. I mean, I think a lot of teams, most teams, after being down 12-0 rival matchup with your backup quarterback, they would have folded like an omelet, crumbled like a cookie. But Tate Rodemaker and Florida State did not. Yeah, he took, man, what about that hit at the end? Whew. That was vicious. Now, that right there, we see a lot of bogus targeting calls. That was double targeting. For a second, I was questioning. I was like, man, can they throw out 2 guys at once? Both of them targeted them. Is that what you call it? Targeted him? I don't know, but you get what I'm trying to say. That was just the definition of vicious. I'm glad he's okay because I was like, man, Florida State, now they're down to their third quarterback, but he seemed alright. He came back in, handed the ball off, and boom, Trey Benson. Love me some Trey Benson. That dude, really good, and I think he'll be coming back next year. Watch out for him next year. But overall for Florida State, I was impressed with how they bounced back. Now, just because I'm impressed with how they bounced back in this game and showed great resiliency, and I'll move this out the way because that was really... I'll show you one more stat. Like I was saying, though, although I was impressed with their resiliency, doesn't mean I think they're a top 4 team. Now, it's a different ball game from, okay, yeah, you beat Florida, to, hey, is this a top 4 team? My humble opinion right now, I don't think they're a top 4 team just because you don't have Jordan Travis. If they had Jordan Travis, I'd probably have him in my top 4. I don't know because I'd have to see how he would have played in this game. Okay, the point is, you get what I'm saying? I'm more confident with Jordan Travis. Okay, I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't know why I'm beating around the bush. I think we're all in the same boat here. We'd be more confident in Florida State if they had Jordan Travis. So without him, yes, I have my doubts. I don't think, just off the top of my head, if Florida State played Georgia tomorrow, I'm picking Georgia, I'm picking Texas, I'm picking Oregon, Washington, Michigan. I pick Ohio State over them right now. I think Ohio State is better than Florida State. Okay? And y'all know how I feel about Ohio State. That's saying something. I think Alabama's better than Florida State, and that's where I draw a line. It's not that I don't even think Florida State's a top 4 team. I don't even have them in my top 6 or 7. So that's how I feel about them. And they do have Louisville next week, but that's a next week conversation. They came back. Oh, wait. I was going to show y'all one more stat. My apologies. One more stat, and we'll end off the video here because when I was looking at this box score, it did catch my eye a little bit. Oh, wait. Really close there. There we go. All right. As you see on the left here, Florida State. Guess how many total yards they had in this game? I couldn't believe it was this low. 224 total yards. But guess how many Florida had? 232. What about that? Florida outgained them. I can't believe that. Really can't. And Florida did miss a couple of field goals, but it really didn't matter. So, 224 to 232. What about that? That's really all I got to say about that. And there's some more things I could say, but there wasn't too many upsets today. It's rival week. You know how this goes. Every game pretty much is going to be tight. A majority of them, all right? Next week is championship week. Please, as an Alabama fan, please, we either need Texas to lose. That's the big one. Louisville. I'm about to be the biggest Louisville fan as well, even though they just lost to a bottom feeder in the SEC. Not confident in them, but I guess I got to go for them. And also Iowa. Because if Iowa beats Michigan and Georgia beats... Matt, what are you talking about? If Alabama beats Georgia. Alabama probably get in over Michigan. That'd be my guess, because I don't know how you keep Bama out. They won their conference. And you're not going to put Iowa in. There's many more things I could say. I'm extremely tired. I'm still wound up from this Bama game. Let me know your thoughts down below. But